Okay, Shawn's on the way down. I know you got a minute. Tony, anything you need from me?
I might need some advice later about the Ray case with the perjury stuff.
The biggest thing right now is you need to get she perjured herself. I think you need to motion for a continuance. Given the statement she made, I think you should look to see what officers were there. Maybe, I don't know, pick someone that doesn't lie, like Frost, and ask him directly who was making calls on the radio.
Okay.
Utilize that to then strike Stevie from the record or cause her to get called back up because she underlinedly perjured, right? I have to look back at the notes, but you know, if judge is coming, but that's what I would do. And you have to do that quick, like quick, like today type shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right.
Guys?
Michael's got to go in a second, so I figured he could listen in on the intro of whatever. I don't know how deep you want to go, but
basically, I'm sure you're aware that Weiss has stepped down.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Congratulations.
Threw a party and everything.
Yep. Now at least half the judiciary wakes up. It's crazy. So good.
It's a crazy ratio that has changed in the past 7 days. But he stepped down, and then we had to be like, hey, do you have the stuff that they're requesting? Because transparently, I was there.
No, they
for
never
the
did.
meeting. Well, so I was there for the meetings because it was 4 or 5 times that we had like a few hour-long meetings, like with the court clerks, just like trying to put stuff together.
Mm-hmm.
And then get everything kind of ironed out for it. But the documentation, as far as that goes, I didn't have anymore because I was like, oh, this is...
We think we have the document, and it's like literally the worst thing in the world.
Well, so I have another one. Hold on. Because you have the one that has like what it was and then what it became, right?
No. We have the one with all the PD notes on it.
Well, were they? Which one do you have?
It's the one that's like, we want EMP, and he's like, okay, and then it just gets added.
I requested the EMP charge, and it was then marked as resolved.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I think no matter how we dice it, Shawn, like I think getting those documents are good, but we should roll it back and work the penal code in the most legal way possible. We went and reviewed the penal code, there's no one signed off on the methodology. It wasn't just addition of charges, but it's also the removal of charges. It's also certain charges had their entire verbiage changed, like a major one being second-degree murder. Like, for it not even second-degree murder to be reviewed by legislative authorities is insane, because second degree is now more closer to manslaughter than it is actual second degree that is leaning on the basis of malice afterthought and premeditation. Like, the fact that those words were removed is like, it's insane to me, to be honest. So
yeah, again, I'm not here to do any more of the grandstanding.
Yeah.
He's
No,
not a justice, and B, so Michael knows because we've talked a few times. Especially when these changes were being made, because I'm again being completely transparent. I was a part of the process, but I also did have a very different mindset of the place of what we're supposed to be doing as far as penal code changes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And again, it's one of the litany of things that was changed or added, and I didn't have the context of the guise in which that was added to the powers of justices. So if I had known that context of that the only reason why you allowed that was because it was agreed that it would only be used for like emergency adding charges.
Administratively,
yeah.
mostly.
Right.
I will say
didn't have
that we don't
context,
hold
and
we don't hold it against anyone. The primary individual is Weiss in this. He is the sole responsibility, as he was in that room during that review. He made those statements. He's also in that room, the one that convinced us to, not just in the document, but in the meeting room, wanted the whole thing about you guys needing like a majority vote, like, and then it's just like reneged. So we don't hold any, grudges or anything about it, but we do recognize that all these changes are even worse than we thought, and by pulling it back, we want to make an effort together that let's move this stuff forward, and I think this bill mechanism that we're introducing is going to make that really easy. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's
I don't disagree. Like I said, I'm not really here to contend much. I do believe that some of the stuff that was done in those edits was I think it would have good standing, but again, I think it comes back around to the entire point of the audit in of itself and what you're asking for, which I think is reasonable, and I think we can agree to work together. I mean, not saying that you guys wouldn't, right? But I think we could agree to work together to push forward the good changes that some of the good changes that were done in that.
I agree.
Pushing it together, I think it would be a good way to go about it.
I think,
like I said, I do want to say straight up, I don't have a problem with rolling it back. There's others that don't like the idea of rolling it back, but frankly,
that sucks because they don't get to make that choice. Right?
Well, so it's not even that. I want to be super transparent because I'll tell Princess this later as well. Yep. Me and Falcon are kind of on the if you're upset about it, you can wake up and tell me that you're upset about it. Because I'm not
good.
I'm gonna be so transparent. I became a justice. 4 hours later, I said, "What are we gonna do to respond about the Bailey letter? What are we gonna do to respond to the penal code audits?" And we're how many days later, and I've gotten no direct response to that.
Yeah,
from the other two. Me and Murray have talked, and obviously Murray, it's kind of a weird spot because it was his warrant that got flipped, and I was a part of the panel. And to talk about that as well, just briefly, I think the plan going forward is to establish what exactly the panel should be looking for when it comes to those kind of things.
Yeah,
because it is kind of like my opinion on and this is just my personal opinion on that panel, the panel of warrant reviews, is it's a little. The premise of the only reason why we wrote that into law is because somebody decided that they wanted to flip a warrant mid-trial, and then we said, you know what, that's a great idea. We should just put no guidelines as to why people want to flip warrants or.
Brother, we are on the same page on that.
Yeah, I'm not against the concept. I mean, I had a long talk with Turner the day after that happened. I'm not against I was kind of originally against the concept of flipping them. I felt like it should have been like a civil suit thing, but I see the point and why it has its merits, and I definitely think there should be its reasons, because otherwise it's just going to clog up the docket and cause bigger issues.
Brother, we are literally, what you're saying is what me and Michael were talking about yesterday, maybe even the day before that. It's no secret I'm a defense attorney. I've spent 20 years practicing defense, so naturally a tool like that is good for me. But
why wouldn't you do it?
Why would it? You would not be upholding your bar license if as a defense attorney you're not literally trying to get everything overturned, which, like you said, it clogs up the docket. I believe that these two mistakes were made. Yes, it was Weiss. He came in, was fresh. Number one, good faith belief. That needs to be fixed. The good faith exception. Specifically, what I mean is I think it's a great tool, but it's a dangerous tool because it opens a lot of can of worms that, and I'm not trying to be a dick here, that most people with bar licenses, judges, etc., don't have enough background to recognize how fucked up it becomes in San Andreas. Let me just shoot it like that. You know what I mean? It creates a lot of holes that we have undefined. Like plain sight makes sense. But if you have a warrant and you go in and you find a bunch of shit, where's the line for fruit of the poisonous tree and where isn't it? Because with the good faith exception, it literally means that Carmine Costello could separately shoot somebody and then and Blaine County can come down, search them, and they're allowed to use all that evidence, right? And while that should be fruit of the poisonous tree back in the day, because of the good faith exception, you could make an argument against that. That it's too complicated, I think. Second, the warrant overturning, I agree. Warrant should not be overturned without very strict cases where the what is it? Where the evidence in the warrant, like, in other words, it should not be whether a different judge disagrees on the probable cause. In other words, it shouldn't be an opinion difference.
Yeah, it shouldn't be semantics.
It shouldn't be
hard evidence.
It's that there was some evidence that was just not accurate, right? Like, for example, Nino gets raided because they believe 3 of his guns were sold, right? And it lists gun 1, gun 2, gun 3, and it says each one of these are Unos, and it's like criminal negligence, right? The judge signs it, right? Makes sense, right? For a raid on that. But then the lawyer says, hey, we looked at the reports. They actually did it wrong. These aren't 2 out of 3 of these actually belongs to Michael. That should be a warrant overturn, right? But not that, well, I don't actually agree with the probable cause. No, hell no. PC is not like, it's not a fucking equation, right?
100%.
So, and like you said, yeah, it fucks up the docket. Like, so much of this shit is just, yeah. Let me, because we could probably talk for hours. In regards to the penal code, just so you know, you can, in case anyone asks what our position is, we want to roll it back and let's figure out what are the good things in there and let's list them out and let's bang through them over the next 2 weeks. Like, we can meet literally every day and say, let's tackle this one. Where's the contention points? Some of these things can get re-added in, right? Let's talk about a baseline fine. Let's talk about, like, murder. Let's talk about the scheduling. And some of the stuff me and Michael are already cooking right now with getting robbery criminal code put together, weapon criminal code put together. It's going to be so much easier to make things prohibited and unprohibited, right? That we can just bang through this stuff. It will make sense for everybody. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's let's figure out this process now so it can be, I think, like, I mean, fuck, we could review laws once a week if we wanted to. You know what I mean?
I mean, I did also want to bring up, I want to have legislative authority meetings, like, hopefully once a week would be amazing.
I am down. We've wanted them. Yeah. It creates problems, and we all know it creates problems. All of us have been on, like, around this long enough to understand that not having these meetings on a regular basis, not being able to just touch base, and if we have nothing to talk about, that's perfect. That means that we're communicating and everybody understands what's going on. Agreed.
But I do think this should happen, and I do want to have a big push for that, because transparently, my plan as a justice, I am trying to set the baseline for the Department of Justice and make sure that everything is at a certain bar, so that there's a general understanding of what you're going to get when you're going into the courtroom.
Yeah.
You'll have different judges, but you'll get, everybody is on the same page and understands how stuff is supposed to be, so it's not so much like, well, so and so interprets it this way. Like, it's just it is what it is.
The seasoning will change, but the general experience will be the same.
Yep, it's still chicken.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit of a preview. I'm going to be opening up Los Santos University. And it's going to be a whole Harry Potter thing. You sign up, kind of like the court center orientation event. You get assigned the house. There's going to be deans. They'll be able to make syllabuses on the website. And I want to start with law. So you can literally go to a lecture in the city that covers different modules. You don't even need a bar. You don't whatever. And it will track your attendance. It will track your online test. And I'm looking to use that as the baseline by which we make becoming lawyers and learning about the law fun. There's going to be another entire program for learning how to be a legislator, right? So that people, regardless of walks of life, can learn how to propose a bill to any of the legislative authorities. And I'm hoping that can be utilized to grow our lawyer stuff forward, including the work you did on, the Bar Association. We cooked on that a bit. Love the idea. There just isn't anyone that could run it, like who's not already in government. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
There's like 3 lawyers, right? There's like Tony,
Paul, Alejandro.
It's like very limited, right? And I'm not trying to be that guy, but like, you need a strong fucking Murphy Brown, but not depressed person like running that shit. Otherwise, it would fall apart. You know what I mean?
No, 100%.
By the way, that's not a shot at Murphy. I'm just saying, like Murphy's like me. We've been doing this shit for like 30 years. Like, we're old. You know what I mean? Like,
No, that's fair.
Yeah.
I did. This is just my personal brain thought that I've been having the past few days. Because there is a lot of people with records, but they are good in the courtroom, like very good.
You want to get felons as lawyers?
So,
I'm down.
My idea for it is essentially you can be a lawyer as a felon, but you wouldn't be a government, like you're not protected as the lawyer reclassification.
Only
you're not a government employee.
I like the idea. I also think it could turn into a shit show. What if we just had an expedited expungement program for those that took the steps to go into law?
But that's the thing, is the people that I've talked to personally about it, like they want to keep doing crime. They're not going to stop.
Oh.
So I'm kind of with the mayor on this. It's a really cool thing in concept, similar to volunteer EMS. Is a really cool thing in concept, but it is open to exploitation by people that are dickheads. Unfortunately.
Wait, what is?
Exploit. I think he's like people.
No, what's open to exploitation is what I'm asking. I didn't catch the first part of what you were saying.
So you want felons to be judges, lawyers and stuff, right? So I think it comes into the same category as volunteer EMS, right? So volunteer EMS would be open to felons as well. But the minority ruined it for the majority because they went into it not in good faith. That makes sense.
Right. But I feel like that I thought about stuff like not exactly what you're saying, but like when it comes to a lawyer, like all it is, they're clocking in at City Hall and then they're doing cell reps and helping people at bench trials and doing docketed cases.
Yeah, but like what's stopping them from clocking in at City Hall and then, going to rob a bank truck while collecting their paycheck?
I mean, there could be, that's like, that's like a whole different realm. I don't even know that we would even deal with that.
Yep. That's why volunteer EMS doesn't exist.
Oh, that sucks. Yeah. Let's table the idea, Shawn. And I like. This is why
personally.
Yeah, I think at a high level, this is the kind of conversations that we should have, because we know where we want to get to. It's a question of like, it's kind of like warrant overturning, right? We're not sitting here and just like, let's just make it possible. Let's think through how we can make it work, because there could be avenues, right? Like, I mean, it could be as stupid as like one gang can represent a separate. I don't know. I don't know. I'm sure there's a way we can make it work in a way that people aren't gonna shitlord it. You know what I mean?
I mean, it could literally be like they just don't get keys.
I think the concern would be like, so here's the scenario that I think of is, El Sab robs a bank, and then, Luciano comes down to represent him, but Luciano was in the bank. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think, but again, that situation will be handled like legal aids are handled, where legal aids don't have a right to be down there. So if the officers feel like it's okay for them to be down there, then they can. But like in a scenario like that, they can just deny them.
Oh shit! That actually okay. You know what? That actually honestly resolves like 70% of where my concern was. Okay.
Yeah, because it'd just be in that same realm. Like if let's say the person who's got a bar is just a serial cop murderer, like they're probably not ever going to be able to go down into the cells, just for officer safety. But it just depends. Like if the officer's okay with it, then they can. But if they're not, then they won't.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Which is like if they want to go that extra mile and get expunged and like be clean of their record, where I think your idea of the expedited expungement for those scenarios, I don't think would be a terrible idea. Because like maybe they've been doing bar certified stuff for a bit, but they're sick of being rejected from the cells for whatever reason. Then they just get a little expedited expungement, and it's quicker for them, so they don't have to wait the full 30 days. They can do it like maybe how it used to be in like 2 weeks or whatever the case may be.
You could also do it with like how we handle ride-alongs, which is like, do you have a felony? Yes. Is it considered capital or, one of those
bar certify this
really fucking
count this!
You fucked up felonies like first degree or terrorism and stuff like that?
Well, yeah, basically if you can't expunge it, then you can't get a bar.
Yeah, pretty
much. And it especially helps for the people who have gotten, like, since we updated the expungements to include certain hag offenses, so that there's a way to get rid of those. I think that'll be a good spot.
I think that's perfect. Yeah.
Let's table this conversation. I think this is definitely a great one to explore. But I know, is there anything else, Shawn, you want to chat about? I think
no, like I said, I'm just for direction's sake, for the penal code changes. So do you want me to just go like from the change log and just go back, like push it all back?
Yes. And then give me and Michael, we're going to probably need, I would say, about a week. And we're going to tackle crimes against people, weapon, and driver license, like licenses, like gun, driver, let's go, like anything that falls under like that sort of realm, and robberies. And we're gonna start, once we get that criminal code in place, we can start tackling some of the more scheduling related stuff. However, I do think the idea, and then let's have what I think simultaneously, what I think like you, Faulkner, etc., or whomever should do is take all the stuff that did change, and chop it into like logical sections, right? Like, so that, like, for example, fine baseline being $1,000. That's like a topic. A second one would be like the different, like contraband, maybe or like, you know what I'm saying? Like if you took all those changes and broke them into like subcategories, and then let's in this meeting start talking about it and explore why did it happen, or you know what I mean? And we can start that discussion up.
Quickly
100%.
before I run here, Shawn, one thing you do need to keep in mind when you do the rollback is there were some penal code changes that were made legally in the last 3 months.
Yeah,
And
that's why I'm going to try to use the change log, because I know at the top, you guys were asking for the ones, basically from new charges down are all the ones that changed.
Anything that happened, everything should be rolled back except for the last 2 big changes. One was the Blaine County one, and the second was
The
medical, I
March
think.
2nd and the April 5th.
yeah,
I was
those.
say, if you roll back my medical one, I swear to God.
No. Those were legislatively back. So the
Depends which one it is.
last 2 big changes, those were legally done, but the ones on like February 3rd, February 9th, February 4th or something, 6th maybe. Like,
February 3rd.
yeah.
Oh, I see the February 9th and below. Yeah.
The
Yeah.
April 5th was aiding and abetting and fleeing a judicial
Oh,
proceeding.
that one's good too. Yeah. So
So logging without a license was princesses, fishing without a license, hunting without a license, misdemeanor animal abuse, felony animal abuse, and then the medical ones, which aren't listed in here, I don't believe, in this shared report, Shawn.
I don't think they're listed.
So we just need to make sure that parries don't get rolled back unintentionally.
Yeah, no. It's not, I will say it's not easy to roll stuff back. So
Can I
definitely
ask-
won't accidentally do that.
is there like a JSON file or something like how does
let me
is there a
look
button
here.
to add and remove? Like, is there one big
No,
text
so
file?
you know how you make a report?
Yeah.
So that's how I make a charge. So it'll give me
I
the
would
name,
ask
what
IT.
category it is.
I would ask IT, this might be a big JSON file in the background or some shit. And if it is, that's probably a better way to do it, because I could pull the old one and in a massive text file, you could easily change all this shit and then mass commit it.
I can ask.
Am I kind of making sense what I mean by that?
No, I get it.
Yeah. Because I think that's how it used to work. And I have a feeling that these buttons that you're talking about are like sitting on top of something that's easier to change. We just don't see
pray
it.
so.
Yeah, hopefully it's a JSON. God, that would make your life so much easier.
It'd be good for us too, right? Because if we have a flat file for the entire penal code, we could present that in our own tools. So like, let's say we're in a meeting, we could alter that file and do diffs.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like, that's so much better than pressing buttons in MDT. You know what I mean?
I'm thinking
Yeah.
even the standpoint of like reorganizing or recategorizing things would
Yeah,
be a lot easier.
exactly.
Right.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, brother. That if something like that would be sick. Because some of the titlings are kind of eh.
All right, I gotta run.
Okay. All right, Michael.
I will be back in like 8 hours.
Dr. Perry, what I wanted to ask you about, Shawn, would you get conflicted if I talk about anything regarding Mason?
No, because I know everything about that at this point.
It is my understanding that Mason is getting buried next to Barrett, with Barrett, and I find that rather gross, given the fact that while he was law enforcement prior, he actively tried to hunt down and murder somebody, and having him buried next to someone that swore an oath to the Constitution, fought for, the state, etc., that's a little odd. You know what I mean? And
Yeah, no, I'm finding out about this now because was out of my hands. That was organized by Jackie Legs and the BCSO in hand.
okay,
So
I don't want to be that guy,
Yeah.
but I may have to prevent him from being buried in my county.
Nah, be that guy.
So,
oh no, please be that guy if they do try and do
God
that.
damn it. So wait.
Were you
do
expecting
think you
us
could
to
talk to
have
Jackie?
more fight against
Well,
that?
Well, I figured like maybe I didn't know who organized it, right? Like it might be worth
Yeah,
having a
it's
chat with Legs.
BCSO, so it's BCSO and Jackie Legs.
Jesus
So-
Christ.
Yeah, they're doing both of them together.
Where's the
'Cause-
intended burial?
I have no idea. No one's giving me
Okay.
those details. Because
Um,
once we give the body over to BCSO, it's wherever they wish to take them.
and just to like, because a police ceremony, right? It's the county, it's the state that's like, thank you for your service and all this, and you're burying him. To do that for a disgraced killer, you know, is like burying Osama bin, like maybe not exactly the same, but like, you know, just to be, you know, a little bit like, imagine it's like, oh man, fucking Osama died. Let's fucking like, you know, like bury him in you know, in Washington next to all the other, you know, because he used to be a CIA operative. Like that'd be fucking insane. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, he was on our payroll. Fucking, you know, God bless America. Fucking put fucking Bin Laden in a fucking hole over there. Jesus.
Okay.
Um,
I'll try and see what I can if I can talk to Jackie about it.
yeah. I'm
but-
trying to avoid a political disaster. If we can do it like kind of professionally, is what I'm trying to aim at.
Yeah,
but-
that's what I'm hoping as well, especially if that's the case. But
Problem
knowing
is,
Jackie,
I think you have to talk to BCSO about
Yeah,
it because I think they're
BCSO is
both
gonna be doing it.
BCSO deputies.
yeah,
the Beretta guy entirely makes sense. Just to be clear, right?
no, yeah,
But
yeah. That
even
one-
Beretta's funeral would be disgraced by being buried next to this guy. You know, it's there's
I hope
another
they're not- they're not
way
putting
to
them
go
together.
about it is that technically his body no longer has rights, right?
Mm.
And therefore we might issue a writ of habeas corpus, you know what I'm saying? Or not actually habeas corpus, but you know, joke. Might have to like keep that body in a freezer and then sue. I forgot what it's called when you have a court case where the person's dead, right? Where it's to determine whether or not he did or didn't do something wrong, and then based on that determine like we'll bring his dead body to court or some shit.
Oh my god, we need seance lawyers.
No,
No, we do not need seance
no.
lawyers. I'm still mad at you guys for doing that in my
Wait,
ICU
what?
ward today.
I mean, I was just fucking with them.
Yeah, just to be clear, what
That's-
I'm describing is like an actual thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's
Yeah, no.
yeah, it's
I think it's gonna be a thing of you might have to talk to BCSO on this.
oh, God
Since
damn it.
since it goes in line with the Peacock Act,
What's the Peacock Act?
patient chain of custody. Technically, because the dead body goes to whoever the emergency contact is in that, so it would be BCSO. So whatever
Okay.
they want, like after like the body leaves our hands, whatever they want, basically.
Okay, so they're
It's
in
up to them.
constructive possession of a body. Yeah, but that's a custody thing, right? Okay. I'm gonna cook. I'm gonna start with Princess, and we'll go from there.
Yeah. that
Oh
might
my
be good.
God. Oh man, this is gonna be a hell of a court case. I cannot wait.
When is the sheriff getting announced?
I think in a day or two.
Okay.
Okay. Anything
Fuck,
else,
man,
guys?
I wanted to go to bed
Oh, one more
5 hours
thing.
ago.
I
Mhm.
do, with us having hopefully weekly meetings, I do also want to have sort of like a heads of state meeting, not as frequent. So it's like it's us, the legislative authorities, and then like the sheriff and the chief of police would be included as well.
Let me say this. And I'll tell you why our last meetings didn't work. We need an agenda. So the meeting should only happen. I'm down to go to any single meeting, but I want to know the agenda in advance. So it should be a thing where it can be an email chain. It can be whatever. And it's like, we need an agenda going into that meeting, because otherwise I'm going to be that guy. I have so much shit that goes on that if I sit in a meeting and it's just like no one's got a topic or no one's driving the topic.
Well, yeah, I
It's
mean, if
like-
that ever happens in the meeting, then we'll just end it. Like, everybody involved is just too busy to sit there and just, hey, how's it going over there? Like,
Hey,
unless
did you
have,
hear
like,
what
a
we did
pointed thing
today?
to say.
Oh my God!
Yeah, no. Unless there's something pointed that involves the other authorities to be discussed, then the meeting won't happen.
Okay, I'll fuck with that. All right, I am going to break here, and this is good. I love the mentality you're bringing, Shawn. I really do. We got a lot of work ahead of us, you know, and cooperation
Sit around
has
and
got to
wait
sit
for
at the top.
People to say nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, Shawn, if you want to let me know whenever those meetings happen.
Yeah, I'll try to. It'll probably